Welcome to a Trinity update, and I have Kathi Tunheim, president of the church council, and we welcome Pastor John Strommen. And now we have a Kathi and Jeri sandwich with John in the middle. Yay!
How exciting!
It is super exciting. So we thought it was time to update you a little bit on what is happening at church. We want to talk a little bit about COVID-19 and also some of the things that we have planned. So today is Gratitude Sunday, the day we're asked to turn our Forward in Faith cards in. And John mentioned in his sermon how wonderful it is to say what you're grateful for. So what are you grateful for, John?
I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for Trinity. And in addition to my family, the weather, all the things that I can do in life, I'm grateful for a lot of things. I'm grateful for what I see in Trinity. And one of the first things that just jumps off the page, so to speak, is how the energy and the vitality that is here. There is this sense that God is alive and people are excited, and there's a positivity that is just palpable and it's exciting. Along with that is a sense of people being caught up in mission, namely wanting to make a difference in the world. I think outreach is a clearly a central kind of characteristic and quality of Trinity, and you really feel that, and that's what the church needs, is that sense that we're not just called to be here in these walls, but to be out there to make a difference. And lastly, I sense a real openness to change and to experiment, and that will serve us well moving ahead. Is that some churches are not open to that, then they're stuck. So those things are really, really important.
Well, we're so glad to have you here. Kathi and I did these updates in the summer, and we were like, well, that's when the interim pastor is going to come, and we didn't know when that would be. And as a staff member, I am so grateful to have you here and your positivity and leadership. And I think the staff has worked extra hard and is enjoying this time of newness and also challenge. And as we kind of move on, we want you to know what, Kathi?
Mm-hmm. Well, I also want to add that we're really grateful to have you here, John. And it's just been such a joy for me and the council to watch Pastor John and Pastor Ann work together. I think they are already teaming beautifully, and I think the staff feels that. I've gotten quite a bit of feedback from congregational members that they think this is a good fit. So we're glad to have you here, and your objective feedback kind of about where we are at Trinity is meaningful. So thank you for that, and keep giving us feedback as we now bring the call committee into Trinity with Troy Coltis and his committee. You know, they are filling out this very important assessment that needs to go to the Synod, and that is not quick work. That is really, we're going to need to collect some data. I call it mixed methods, qualitative data, focus groups and interviews, and quantitative data. Maybe there'll be some more surveying done here to really help us identify where are we right now and where do we need to go. So we're going to probably do a lot of assessment here. So be ready. People are going to be calling. I think you're going to work with some small groups, right? So that's going to take a while, but we think that planting those seeds is worth the return so that we can really put a good plan together and really identify what we need for a senior pastor. So that's what we're thinking about and where we're heading. The executive committee meets Monday night this week with the pastors, and the council meets this Thursday. So we are thinking very seriously, though, about COVID, because the numbers are up so significantly in the state as we watch the MDH and CDC. So we do have some plans about not going into the sanctuary through the end of the year, and we're going to continue worshiping outside as much as we can. We probably won't have as many nice days as we have today, but the Agape Market is next Saturday outside. I'm looking forward to that, and we're going to worship outside next Sunday and see just how long we can keep this going.
Right. I think, truthfully, by this time, we had hoped that we would be indoors. I think we all feel that. But as the numbers are increasing, we have tried to tighten up our procedures a little bit here. And we're talking about increasing a group size from 10 to 15. That's something that I think the council will be considering. Is that right, John?
Yes, it is. Probably this Thursday.
Yeah. And so when groups do meet, and we're so glad to have you here, I want to make sure I say that, that we need to not have food or beverage, just that we're able to be together but socially distant with our masks on. And I know it's not what we desire, but it's what we need to do. And so we do have some exciting plans coming up even for Thanksgiving.
We do indeed.
Yes.
And those plans for Thanksgiving include what?
Include what? Well, I will tell you some service opportunities, such as volunteering at Calvary downtown. There will be a sign-up that you'll receive in an email, probably even tomorrow, which would be Monday. We're taping this Sunday, so this week. And also Thanksgiving in a Bag. There will be a taped worship Thanksgiving Eve, and so live or taped, you will have a worship service there. So we are making plans for you to be able to be thankful in your homes in a very safe way. But we do plan to gather November 29th, that's the first Sunday in Advent, to do an outdoor lighting of the Christmas tree and the lights around Trinity, and we have some special things planned.
Oh, that's great.
Each Sunday, starting November 29th and then into December. And it will be from 4 to 5. Families are encouraged to come. A short time outside, but very celebrative, and also some community. So I think that's going to be really nice.
Yeah, good touch point. We're going to have our own pie on Wednesday night, right? We normally come to church, worship, and then have a piece of pie before Thanksgiving, but we can do that on our own.
Right. Well, what we're doing instead is I actually, we have a group that's working on giving out pies to people who could just use a lift, and also from some emergency services people as well.
Nice.
So that will also be in the email, but we want to encourage, it's say hi with a pie. And so,
Clever.
yeah, so there'll be another opportunity to say, I'd like to deliver a pie as well for that, or I think this family could really use a pie. And certainly any of us could do that for our neighbors.
Yes, we could.
Well, indeed, and that's part of the spirit that's so evident here, that desire to make a difference in someone else's life. And I would say, too, along the lines of our plans for Thanksgiving, that one of the, frankly, opportunities that the pandemic gives to us is a chance to cultivate church at home. And because church is people, it's not a building, church is at home, and it's wherever you happen to be as a member of a church. And so families have an opportunity to cultivate faith practices in the home and establish home as a bit of a sanctuary for worship. So Thanksgiving, we're going to encourage people to have a little worship service in their home and practice gratitude and share with one another what they are thankful for as we facilitate that kind of reflection from our post of our service that we will provide for them. So that's one of those opportunities.
It is. I know that it's hard. It's always fun to be able to see people, and we have opportunity for that. We do, as Kathi mentioned, have the Agape Market this coming Saturday from 9 to 4, and we also have our worship services outside, and they are pretty fun. I drove up in my car today and tuned in to the radio, because you can listen on the radio in your car, and you were clear as a bell.
Clear as a bell.
Clear as a bell. That's a saying, isn't it?
That is a saying, and
I'm an old timer, John.
that's yeah, right. Clear as a bell. And which is a good thing, because if you can't hear, then you're in trouble. But the first outdoor service we had, it was 26 degrees out there.
Yeah, you're first.
But it was a piece of cake.
Yeah.
There's another, is that an old expression?
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake.
I got this.
Yeah. But it was, apart from my fingers not being able to move and turn the pages of my sermon.
Yeah, well,
apart from that, it was
one
great.
page was fine.
It was great. Yeah, just one page. Yeah, let that be a lesson to you, Pastor. Just one page is 5 minutes, and you're
done.
done.
That's a good
You're
length.
good.
But hey, if you can do it in 26 degrees, that kind of leads us into the winter. Let's just keep on going. And most churches, I don't think, are doing that.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Right.
And that's part of the can-do spirit that's here. It's also part of that innovation of how might we do worship outside, not only in the middle of the summer when it's 70 degrees, but how about when it's 26 degrees? And did that slow us down? Not one bit. And so that's an exciting thing.
Yeah.
That's claiming the bold north, right?
And can I give a shout out to our staff, Jer? I know I've got you and Mark here, so I can say it to you personally, but to everyone on staff, I have just been so impressed how they really have tried to come up with new ideas and dared take things outside in a new way. And that, I just think, is the kind of boldness that we need here, and go forward in faith. That we will get through this. We will get through this. I've watched and listened to my grandparents talk about the sacrifices they had to make through World War II. And I just think we have sacrifices here, but we know there's a time and a season, right? And we will get to the other side of this, and we will all be able to come back together eventually. But we will find a warm clothes. That'll make a difference. Bob Tunheim's sitting outside every service. I don't know that I have much of a choice, but it's my way to engage with people. I got to sit by Wendy Weil this morning. That was fun.
Well, someone once said there is no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. And I think there's something
to be said for that.
There's something to that.
You're in my Norwegian relatives.
Which is all about the spirit of adapting
Yes.
to the circumstances that are presented to you. And that is really a critical piece for this church and any church moving forward, is that adaptive, innovative spirit.
It is. I want to also prompt us all to say thank you to your contributions and your giving card returns, because it's a hard time to do it, but we want to encourage.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thanks, Jer. We really want to encourage everyone to give from their heart, even if it's not as much as they'd like to give. If everyone could give something, that would just be really appreciated, because we need to keep the finances of the church going. We have not seen another stimulus package here, so it's up to us. It is up to us to keep everyone paid and keep our programming going. So thank you. I believe there are about 100 families that have given at least before this morning, and we'll get the pledge cards accounted for this week. But if you haven't done it, we will take your pledge card anytime, and it would just really help the Finance Committee, who's meeting this Wednesday morning, I understand.
Well, one thing that's really evident in a time like this, the time of a pandemic, is how easily people can kind of get down and despair about what's happening. But that's true. But that's a sign of the importance of the work of the church, that our work goes on. It is not thwarted by a pandemic. We are needed more than ever to bring hope for the future, to connect people, to bring a message that can enliven them and refocus and help them to adapt. And so the work of the church is so critical. So support the church by showing up and doing what you can, by participating, and by giving financially, to be sure.
And we have some fun plans for the new year, which we will do in our next update. But I'm going to count us down to our close here. 3, 2, 1. Forward in faith.